Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Do you know this man? Well, you've probably seen countless advertisements, movies, toys, and merch with his face on it. And well, what you probably didn't know was this actor was handed drugs by his own father at age 6. By his 20s, he was a rising star. By his 30s, he was behind bars. And by his 40s, he became Iron Man.
I am Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr.'s life isn't just about fame or fortune. It's about falling hard and choosing to rise anyway. Through family struggles, addiction, prison time, and personal loss, he didn't just rebuild his career. He reclaimed his identity. And in doing so, he left behind powerful lessons on growth, grit, and resilience, ones that just might help you untap your potential. Welcome to Untapping Your Potential, where we will share with you motivational stories, motivational figures, comeback stories, and public speaking tips that will keep you growing and inspire you to take action. Before Robert Downey Jr. was known as a genius, billionaire, playboy philanthropist on the big screen, he was a young man struggling with addiction in real life. The acclaimed actor's path to success was shaped by a turbulent upbringing, personal demons, and hard-earned redemption. Downey Jr. was born in Manhattan's Greenwich Village, a neighborhood known for its bohemian culture. His parents, Robert Downey Sr. and Elsie Ford, were deeply involved in underground film, working as directors, screenwriters, and actors. And from an early age, Robert was immersed in the world of independent cinema. "I got very used to falling asleep to the sound of clapboards," he once said. "It was almost like I was being programmed." But that environment also exposed him to substance use. When he was just 6 years old, Downey Sr. gave his son marijuana. And in 1988 interview with The New Breed, Downey Jr. recalled there was a lot of pot and coke around. And when my dad and I would do drugs together, it was like him trying to express his love for me in the only way he knew how. Downey Sr. would later express deep regret for those choices, admitting in an interview, "We thought it was cute to let him smoke. It was an idiot move. I'm just happy he's here." Downey's parents eventually divorced, fracturing what little stability he had. Though the separation was amicable, Robert chose to live with his father, which led to a move to California. It was a difficult period. As he grew older, Robert began taking acting more seriously, and at 16 he dropped out of high school and returned to New York to live with his mother, a move that helped repair their bond. That reconnection proved vital years later. In the mid-2000s, during one of the lowest moments, a heartfelt phone call from his mother inspired him to give up alcohol for good. And although his early drug use began at home, things escalated when he entered Hollywood. In 1987, Downey starred in Less Than Zero as Julian Wells, a young man consumed by addiction. The role, though not quite autobiographical, paralleled his own experience with drugs in the 1980s. And in 2022 documentary Senior, he reflected, "We were all altering our consciousness with substances. I just wanted to stay loaded rather than face how off track things had gone." And he admitted to The Guardian, "Until that movie, I took my drugs after work and on the weekends, and that changed on Less Than Zero." In 1985, Downey was hired by Lorne Michaels as a cast member in the Saturday Night Live, shortly after appearing in Weird Science. However, his stint was a disaster. Critics lambasted his performances, and in 2015, Rolling Stone named him the worst cast member in the show's history. Downey later acknowledged that experience taught him what he wasn't. "I was not somebody who was going to come up with a catchphrase or do impressions." Like many young actors, Downey missed out on major roles early in his career. He was nearly cast as Ducky in Pretty in the Pink, a role that ultimately went to John Cryer, and passed on playing Lloyd Dobler in Say Anything, which became a breakout role for John Cusack. Off-screen, Downey's love life was often tumultuous. He dated actress Sarah Jessica Parker for 7 years, starting in 1984. Parker later described their relationship as one where she felt more like a caretaker than a partner, eventually leaving out of concern for her own well-being. At a certain point, I had the courage to say, "I'm going to walk away and just pray that you don't die," she told People in 2018. Downey's legal problems came about in the mid-1990s, and in 1996 he was arrested for driving under the influence. Police found heroin, cocaine, and an unloaded handgun in his truck. He was sentenced to probation and mandatory drug testing. A year later, after missing a court-ordered test, he served 4 months in jail. And in 1999, after failing another test, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. He later described prison as the most dangerous place he had ever been and likened the experience to being trapped on an alien planet. Despite serving time, Downey's struggle continued. He was arrested in 2000, just months after his release. But in 2015, after more than a decade of sobriety, California Governor Jerry Brown granted him a full pardon. The early 2000s were a professional low point. His career was in ruins, his name synonymous with scandals. Then came Ally McBeal. Cast as Laurie Paul, the love interest of the title character, Downey delivered an award-winning performance. But before his comeback could fully take shape, another arrest forced the show's producers to let him go. In 2014, Downey suffered a profound personal loss when his mother passed away. He described her as more than a mother. She was a source of inspiration on his path to recovery. And that same year, Downey began filming Senior, a documentary chronicling his father's life and their complicated relationship. Released in 2022, the film became a deeply personal exploration of family, legacy, and healing. Downey also faced the challenge of watching his own son, Indio Falconer Downey, struggle with addiction. Indio was arrested for drug possession in 2014, echoing his father's past. But with strong family support, he began the path of recovery. And as of late 2023, Indio celebrated 18 months of sobriety and was preparing to release his debut EP, Extended Play. Downey's true comeback began in 2018 with the launch of Marvel Cinematic Universe. As Tony Stark, he reinvented himself and became one of the highest paid actors in the world. But post-Marvel, not everything went according to plans. His first major film, Dolittle, was a critical and commercial disappointment. While some projects like HBO series Perry Mason were praised, they didn't quite restore his post-Iron Man momentum. And that all changed in 2023 with Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, where Downey's portrayal of Lewis Strauss earned widespread acclaim, proving once again the depth of his talent. And now, he's stepping into the armor of one of Marvel's most formidable villains in the upcoming Doomsday. From genius to legend, from hero to conqueror, Robert Downey Jr. is about to introduce the MCU to its most brilliant and ruthless mind yet. As Downey himself once said in Oppenheimer as Lewis Strauss, "Amateurs seek the sun, get eaten. Power stays in the shadow." Well, what are some things that we can learn from Robert Downey Jr.'s life? Number one, own your own mistakes. People rise out of the ashes because at some point they are invested with the belief in the possibility of triumph over seemingly impossible odds. Number two, surround yourself with people who believe in you. There is an unpanned gold in every soul you run into, no matter what walk of life they are from. And number three, bet on yourself, even when others won't. Whatever you want to do, if you want to do it, that should be enough. You don't need anybody else to give you permission. Don't allow rejection to determine your potential. Believe in yourself, work on your approach, and don't give up. Who will you put your money on to get your dream career? If RDJ had quit trying to apply new roles, do you think we'd have had the same Iron Man? Sometimes you've got to run before you walk. Iron Man. Thanks for watching this video. How would you like to hear more motivational stories consistently? Do me a favor and support the channel by sharing and commenting below. And please make sure to like and hit that subscribe button to get the latest update. Soon, you will be on your way to feeling inspired.